Many will ask, what killed the Brooklyn Nets of 2021-2022? Well, there were a lot of things. Let's get the obvious out of the way. The COVID vaccine mandate against athletes in New York City that Bill de Blasio put in one of his last acts as the mayor of the NYC before handing the reins over to Eric Adam, a black man. You would think that on paper, that being a black man, he would, as well as the NBA's COVID vaccine mandate, both of which Kyrie ended up casting Kyrie Irving as a scapegoat. One of the best players on the Nets and one of the best young players in the NBA, basically scapegoated and treated like a pariah by the association, the city, the city's governance, and the city's governance just because he didn't want to get the vaccine jab. That's wrong. And because of that, the Nets suffered badly. Only getting him in games where to use him in road games for most of the season in cities that did not possess a vax mandate. Which means he couldn't, at the time, he couldn't play in LA. He couldn't play in Chicago. He couldn't play in Detroit, New York, either Barclays Center or the Garden. Couldn't play in Toronto and several other cities where there was a vax mandate running amok. 2. Aforementioned mayors enforcing this mandate, even though they knew it was unethical, illogical, and flat out nonsensical. It wasn't until people finally had enough and demanded that let Kyrie play that Adams finally decided to drop it altogether. But by that point, too little, too late. 3. An 11-game losing streak throughout the month from January to February. 3, due to injuries, COVID protocols, and some strife between James Harden and Nets management. And this is one that I think was the kill shot. Shipping out James Harden to Philadelphia for depth pieces like Andre Drummond, Cam Thomas, and Ben Simmons. The latter of which was never going to be able to play because of his spinal problem, because of his back issues. Oh, and Seth Curry. The Nets were barely able to get in via the play-in. And what happened against Boston? They got swept. Disgusting, isn't it? Now, will the Nets be able to rebound in 22-23 with this core? I do believe they will, but it's going to take some growing pains to get used to. Had James Harden kept quiet and stayed in Brooklyn, would we have gotten further? Yes and no. Yes, we would have won a couple of games against Boston, and no, I don't think we would have got. And no, I don't think we would have needed a play-in. No, I do believe we'd still need the play-in and get in. Bottom line, New York basketball this year sucked. For both the Nets and the Knicks. The former because of drama with the front office and a coach who didn't want to play by the front office's whims. The latter because of drama over the vaccine mandate law and James Harden's unwillingness to play second fiddle. Both to a team he couldn't really mesh with. They didn't really gel with all that well. Who knows how the future is going to pan out for Brooklyn? But in any case, for both New York basketball teams, the 21-22 season was a massive step backwards. And that hurts a team. How is Steve Nash going to fix this in the offseason? How's the net front office going to fix this in the offseason? From what I understand, they're going to have a roughly top 15, top 20 pick in the draft in June. Now, they could trade that away and trade up during the offseason, but I don't know if they would want to do that. Because pickings are going to be pretty slim by the time we get to the draft when the draft happens in June. I mean, let's look at the mock draft. Coughed up their first round pick. Who would they have gotten? Oh, they would have been at number 17. They coughed it up to the Rockets. And they traded it away to the Rockets. If I had to guess, that was the James Harden deal they made last year. Part of the James Harden deal they made last year. And the Rockets would be mock projected to get Kendall Brown. I don't like this pick. He's very poor at small forward. He's not a good wingman. His offense is mediocre, and his defense is horrible, from what I can see looking at Tankathon. And they don't have a second round pick from what I'm looking at across the board. Now, who would be the best pick for the Nets? Oh, I forgot. The Nets do have a Philadelphia draft pick that they can burn. A draft pick from Philadelphia that they can burn. Let's see. They'd be set to take Wendell Moore from Duke at the 23rd, 23 slot. Interesting. Wendell's a decent distributor, but I'm not sure about his other intangibles. And throw in the fact that he's a junior, and most people that are coming into the league these days are freshmen at worst, sophomores at best. Do they go through with this? That's debatable. But review for the Nets of 2022 as a collective team, they get a C minus from me. I mean, they get a C. Underperformed, had too many backstage problems, off-court problems to deal with, and should have been better than what we got out of them. That's all I got. Leave a comment, smash the like, sub to the channel. Mets2128 signing out. Goodbye. Good night. Bang.